Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Brill. And on this episode, we're going to dive deep into ServiceNow's latest free offering, Horizon. And joining us today is Brian Zaik and AJ Siegel. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be on the show, Bobby. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Bobby.
Before we get into it, introduce yourselves a little bit and talk about your time here at ServiceNow. Brian, why don't you lead us off?
For sure. So I've been at ServiceNow for just over a year, and I am a principal product manager for our design system. So my focus is on Horizon, as well as our design architecture that powers all of our user experiences across the ServiceNow AI platform.
That user experiences, that's really where all this kind of the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So that's going to be really exciting to talk about. And AJ, tell us a little bit about your time here at ServiceNow.
Yeah, I've been at ServiceNow for just about 10 years now. I started off my time in a team called the Workflow Design Studio, which was an innovation SWAT team in the sales organization. But for the last 4 years, I've led the design enablement strategy team within our experience organization, helping drive productivity gains and efficiency and quality gains within the design org, and also at our customers and partners, helping them deliver great experiences with the AI platform.
Because that's all the other part of all this is the AI aspect that all of us are now deeply involved in. Brian, lead us off. I mean, the big question is, what is Horizon?
Well, Horizon is really the single point and destination for designing experiences on the AI platform from ServiceNow. So really what that means is we are after providing this single place where people can go to learn about the best ways to approach designing their workflows and applications on the platform. And what that means is that we are not only just documenting the design system, so everything is from being as simple as a button that you can place on a screen to more complex workflows and patterns, how you deliver alerts to your users, and how you deliver great AI experiences. Those are all documented on Horizon. And really, we're extending it even beyond that. So if you are wondering how to do user research, make a great design decision that results in your experience being sticky, something that people are delighted to use, then Horizon is this single point where you can reference that and use it in order to deliver those experiences. And it's totally free for ServiceNow customers and partners. So it's a super exciting place to go.
And when you say free, I don't want to make this a marketing conversation, but that's a big deal because AI is not cheap. AI has a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of time and money and data and man hours and thought leadership that went into creating this concept, correct?
Absolutely. And really, what we are after by delivering these free resources to enable people to design great experiences is that they can really focus on the innovation, the types of tools that they can build into what they deliver to their end users. And AI is a huge part of that. So we've launched a series of AI enablement pages and examples, and we're just getting started. As agentic AI really heats up within ServiceNow and across our platform, then Horizon will remain up to date with the latest, best ways of approaching those problems and solving them in the most elegant ways.
Oh, wow. AJ, I want to ask you about this because this is, everything Brian's talking about. This is new. This is innovative. There are, for lack of a better term, to quote, old ways of doing things or what has always been traditional. Bring us up to speed on some of that so that both people who are partners and clients understand what we've got and people thinking about it understand how where this shift is going from.
Yeah, for a long time, building solutions on ServiceNow was about crafting a great workflow, building great integrations, and often the UI was left behind as a priority. A lot of times that was because the audience you were building for was a captive group of folks in IT that you could train, and they were comfortable working with complex systems. As we've expanded to cover all employees at an enterprise and our customers' customers, more and more we're seeing our customers and our partner ecosystem emphasize the importance of UX. The challenge for those folks is whether it's a ServiceNow developer or admin saying, "Hey, I care about UX, tell me more," or when you bring a UX professional onto a ServiceNow team is where do they go to learn about ServiceNow? And so they could go to Docs, they could go spin up a PDI, but if they weren't technically savvy, there's a big learning curve. And so with Horizon, we have this great opportunity to speak to them in their language, to talk about UX in the context of ServiceNow, to break down the different choices you make on the platform that can enhance, maintain, or degrade the user experience as you're implementing a product or building a customer's custom solution on the platform. You now have this resource to go to as your demands around UX evolve. This is the place you can go to understand how to make sure that your end users are getting a great experience that's intuitive, efficient, and delivered with quality.
That's something I want you to really talk about when we talk about UX and this design system, this idea of creating an experience which sometimes doesn't always come into this world of IT and back end that is really so important when we're creating something that is going to be used by people.
Well, that's absolutely right. And I'll start by just going back to the basics here. So, a design system and even design enablement and design system websites, that's not a new concept. Many companies for years have had design systems that they have released to the broader world. So, there are tons of companies, including Google, Meta, Microsoft, many other companies that have been releasing their design systems on the web so that everybody can understand how they approach, as AJ pointed out, UX design. Now, a design system is especially important for enterprise, and it's become even more important even over just the last few years. People are demanding consumer grade experiences that are delightful to use, that help people get through whatever their tasks are in the most efficient way possible. And so UX has become table stakes for companies. And the design system is just this single source where you can collect all of the building blocks of your experience design. So I mentioned before, like buttons and form inputs and things like that. But it also includes patterns, how we deliver error alert messages when needed, or collect information in the best way possible. And really, what this helps to do, it is so essential with reducing the learning curve. So, as AJ mentioned, regardless of if you have a design background, if you are doing UX design work in order to deliver something to your end users, then you can use Horizon to solve the easy problems simply. So we don't want you having to figure out which different button style you should use, right? That is just something that honestly wastes time.
Yeah, it's an
And so,
unnecessary roadblock.
exactly. So we just want to provide that know how and give people interactive examples of those types of things so that they can focus on the things that really innovate, move forward, that differentiate them from others on the ServiceNow AI platform. So, how to use AI, how to assemble these building blocks into a coherent, easy to understand, delightful experience.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, and you call out this idea of we know what other companies look like. There is a look and feel, and it makes me think back, more than 20 years. If it seems like the early days of web building, and what was standard, what was the way to do, what was the right way to do it. Where if you went to a company's website, you just went, "Ugh, this is not good." You were like, I've lost some respect for that, and now it's so important with UX that the usability and the visual and the design has a coherence, like you said, that is consumer grade, which actually is a benchmark, I'm guessing, right? That consumer grade is what we want because that is a high level design, correct?
Totally. I mean, we see it all the time. Even if you use your phone, right? You pull it out of your pocket, it has a delightful experience. These are the tools that people regardless of if they work in a consumer space or an enterprise space or some mix of the two, these are the expectations that people have now. And so our philosophy is rising tides raise all boats, right? We want to up-level the quality of UX on the ServiceNow AI platform, and that's really what Horizon is for.
That's a great answer to this next question I'm gonna have for you, AJ, because I know there's more great answers to this. But what was the impetus for ServiceNow to invest in launching this Horizon site?
I think that story starts with almost the launch of the design enablement program as a whole, which is, look, ServiceNow Horizon is a site for us as well when we're designing our products. But the reality is, once we ship those products, they're in the customer's hands. We have great tools for you to configure, customize, tailor experiences to the customer's unique business needs. And when that comes to the UI, we were trusting folks, typically not focused on UI, to deliver and maintain a great experience. And we would see challenges in that space. We would see them customizing a space where they didn't. They could have just configured a quick change to a variant of a button, or maybe done some theming to accomplish something that they thought they needed to customize with. So what we wanted to do is provide that framework to say, okay, you're implementing Employee Center and you want to understand how to make that experience more tailored to your unique business needs. Great. You're built on the service portal framework. These are the things you can configure. These are the ways to configure it. Go over to docs when you need the step by step, but let's at least put in the context of you're trying to deliver a great employee experience through this tool. Now that we can centralize all that in one place and be a hub for understanding the tools in which you can use to deliver that experience. So the other big area often in that world is the taxonomy, right? Where else do we talk about how to craft the topic categories and what items are in each topic and how to use card sorting to get feedback from your users? Horizon's the place to do that. Go to Docs to understand how to actually configure it, but how to make those subjective decisions that are right for your business. We now have a destination we can communicate to you how to make those great decisions that deliver better outcomes.
So that yeah, I mean, understanding the how and why has become the most important part of all of this, it seems like lately. I mean, you can't have any conversation about technology without talking about UX and then, UI and the following. Brian, I want to ask you the other thing we're always talking about being AI and now agentic AI. How does that factor into this conversation?
Well, I mean, it really is the next frontier for all of us at ServiceNow, as well as everybody who's building on our platform. So, really, when we're talking about agentic AI, I mean, it seems like every week there's something new, some new strategy that's emerging there. And so, what we've been trying to do with Horizon is, again, from a UX, UI standpoint, document the types of patterns, interaction models for how you can work with AI, how your users can have their basic questions answered within workflows, but also how should you formulate the experience of integrating AI into your experience. So, we've looked at different ways of delivering agentic AI. It could be a floating panel or a window. It could be something that is just a conversational UX pattern. And by going to Horizon, you can see examples of what we have found works well. And then you can even just understand the basics so that you can get to the point where you feel comfortable leveraging these new and emerging patterns in your experiences. And because Horizon is constantly being updated as new approaches emerge, we will have them on Horizon as well.
Well, this must really be great for customers because now they're thinking, well, now my choices are good. My choices are better. Talk about that because that's got to be a great feeling both for the customer and for us that we're helping them produce something that qualifies as this is good design. This is good work. How does that filter down?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. I think we have this advantage of building a lot of product, right? We have something like 400 designers and product managers as partners. And so we've delivered a bunch of workspaces. We've done a bunch of user research. So one of the things we're starting to add to the site, as Brian said, we're constantly updating the site, are not just this is workspace, this is what it can do, but here are some leading practices. So when we talk about something like the contextual side panel, don't add 50 icons to the contextual side panel. It won't know what they are. Maybe it should be 5 to 8 or 6 to 8. How to think about the different tab structures. So we're not only just saying this is the thing you can do and you can configure it and you can theme it, but also here's some guidance and guardrails to think about based on our experiences and what's worked with actual users. And you'll see that content start to spread. We hope to add content, let's say, around form design, how to collect input from users in the right way. When should you use a drop down versus a text field? That's the type of guidance we can now ship out there. And we've done it through venues like Knowledge and the ServiceNow community. But now we have this dedicated experience site where we can communicate this content to help you understand what good looks like, backed by actual user research.
Yeah, well, one of the other things that I think is so cool when you go to Horizon is that we've got our entire library of interactive components for workspaces, and also, as AJ mentioned, for other app frameworks. So service portals, our native mobile app, and you can easily search and find the right thing. And we've got working examples of everything where you can almost use it as a test bed for testing out ideas and finding the right thing for solving whatever problem you're trying to solve in your UX. And you can easily just get them right into your experience that you're building. So it's a very powerful tool. I use it every day. We use it within the company too, to just increase consistency and also help people move faster. So again, because we're all moving at light speed to try to deliver a great solution for people, I mean, the world doesn't slow down, right? It only
Right.
speeds up. And so this helps people work more efficiently, but also increase the consistency and the quality of their UX.
I mean, this is solving all of this is providing the solutions we're always looking for. It's like consistency, speed, good. We don't have to pick 2. We get all 3 of them now. AJ, I wanna ask you this question because this is something that I know, because Horizon is new, we have a lot of users who are familiar with, what ServiceNow already offers, like Developer Portal and Docs. How does this complement that experience when creating on the ServiceNow platform?
So Horizon is speaking to that creator audience, right? It's trying to put context on top of dots, on top of developer, and how to think about all the capabilities of the platform in the context of the user. So one kind of guardrail for us as we're putting content on there is we're not going to walk you step by step how to log into an instance, go to the application navigator, and get to UI Builder. Our job is to say, hey, if you buy a product from us and you want to make some changes to the layout or go to the theming, the way you do that is use UI Builder or Theme Builder. Oh, and here's the link on maybe a ServiceNow University course on that product, or here's the dots content on how to configure that capability. So we're connecting the dots with this lens of designing for the user, not just kind of the technical how-to content. And that's kind of our rule. The nice benefit is as the platform evolves and those step-by-step instructions maybe change, we don't have to update our content. That's the docs team's job. And we're only going to do that in one place. So we're not duplicating content that exists elsewhere. We're enhancing it with the UX lens.
So that brings me to that other question that comes up when you're designing anything. It seems like this is making this easier, and I want Brian and AJ both, since you both use this, I want to get your opinions on this. Brian, you go first. Does this make this easy?
I mean, in many, many ways, right? So even if you're not a designer, you can use Horizon to create an experience, right? So we're not requiring any specific design background or knowledge or anything. We're trying to really democratize and spread this out to everybody so that even if you're coming from, let's say, a more traditional technical background, but you're interested in how we approach design on the platform and also how you can uh, design an experience that works for your end users, then Horizon is for you. Now, we don't require any specific background. It really is meant to be approachable to everybody here. So We even have an awesome getting started section. And this covers all the fundamental things that you need to know about how the ServiceNow AI platform works and how we approach design. And then we get into more specialized areas so that if you are coming at this from a design background or even from a developer background, then you can understand how to approach design on Horizon. So, yeah, no specific knowledge required in order to get started. But if you wanted to get more advanced, we certainly provide that too.
And I think one of the things that we try and do on Horizon is reduce decision fatigue. When you're building an app on the platform or customizing a product, configuring a product, there are a lot of decisions that you have to make. And often those decisions are ambiguous. You don't have the information. You always need to make them. So when you look at a component on Horizon and we have a when to use, when not to use, boom, there's your decision making apparatus. Is it yes to the when to use or is it no to the when to use? Great. What's the alternative? Right. So we're gonna try and reduce that fatigue. And Brian brought up the playground. This is another great thing. So not only is there the component playground within the Horizon site where you can configure a button or another component, see what it looks like, and even see the HTML code to use that. We also have Figma libraries representing the Horizon Design System, Employee Center, our native mobile platform. So Figma is a design tool. It's the industry leading product design tool right now. Most of our customers somewhere in their organization have some Figma licenses. What this will enable them to do is quickly prototype an experience, get feedback from stakeholders, get feedback from users, even before a ServiceNow instance is spun up. One of the challenges to prototyping on the platform is you need data. In Figma, you can generate the data using Figma's AI tools or using, feeding in a JSON file of sample data. So again, we're trying to make that process of iterating and getting feedback quicker by providing both the online resources on the Horizon site, but also this Figma ecosystem. If you do hire a designer onto your team or you do hire a design agency, that's a space they'll be familiar with. And we have resources to help them design in a way that's aligned to what the platform can do.
So in essence, it's engineers and designers working in harmony together for the first time ever. Is that happening?
Feel like you need like a light to shine down and yeah, absolutely, man. That is the goal. We want to provide them tools to communicate more effectively.
But coming up, what are some of the great tools and just platform changes that are coming for Horizon?
Yeah, well, I mean, as the product manager, I feel like I'm eminently prepared to answer this question, right? People ask me about roadmaps and what we've delivered pretty much daily. And it's so great that we were able to be at Knowledge 2025 and really connect with the whole community and ecosystem of ServiceNow. So customers and partners, we were able to really walk them through a lot of what we have launched on the site most recently. So one of the things that we've done is add support for all recent family releases. So for instance, our Yokohama family release, and you can go back and look at Xanadu as well in Washington, D.C. And as we release new versions of ServiceNow and the AI platform, then that will be on Horizon as well. So you can even go back and see how things changed over time. And this is on all of the components. It's across our app frameworks that are on the site. So that's one thing that certainly we feel is a great unlock for people to use that. I mentioned AI enablement content. So that's a huge area. And we're over time going to be just expanding that. We've got some really ambitious, exciting plans for how that whole part of the site evolves over time. Again, introducing more practices that we see are resonating with users and also just harnessing some of these new ways of delivering conversational AI and also AI co-creation. So those are some things that we are actively exploring, and for everything that we find resonates with people, those will be shared on Horizon. What we've also been doing is building out our service portal widgets library. And this is a huge area of interest for customers and partners of ServiceNow. So these portals, there are hundreds of widgets that you can use in a service portal. And so we have just a start, and we're going to be continuing to add and build that out over every month. There will be more content that is in that searchable library with interactive examples, with what to do, what not to do, and that will be a continued source of impact for people. So we'll be continuing to expand our content coverage. So not just service portals, but also core UI and native mobile and all these different form factors of the ServiceNow AI platform. And also what we're going to be looking at is more interactive end-to-end workflow examples. So in addition to just the basic components and building blocks that we have on the playgrounds, we're also exploring how we can show complete end-to-end examples. So you could use it as a starting place. You could say, I'm trying to solve a very similar problem. And so Horizon will help you get started with that. It might even deliver a lot of what you need. And if you want to change something, it goes back to that, 80-20, 85-15 type of rule where we want to allow you to get a majority of what you need, and then you can customize it further to your needs.
I mean, that takes that concept of low code, no code to I don't even need to think about code anymore.
Yeah, and I just wanted to plug horizon.servicenow.com. So again, it's totally free, and you can go to the site, and there's places to give feedback and help us evolve this so that it is the most useful compendium of design knowledge for the ServiceNow AI platform. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Give us a follow on LinkedIn. You'll certainly hear as we release more content onto the site, what's coming, what just got released. We just had a release this week, so we'll be talking about that pretty soon. Really excited to share the journey with all of you. Thanks for having us, Bobby.
Thank you, gentlemen, again. And if you have any questions about the ServiceNow platform, head to www.servicenow.com, or of course for Horizon, as Brian mentioned, horizon.servicenow.com. I'm your host, Bobby Brill. Thanks for listening.